Hi, how are you doing? Today we're doing a book haul. It's the second quarterly book haul of the year. Yes, well, for true, the second quarterly book haul of the year. These are all the books I got in the months of April, May, and June. I got them in 3 stacks. And yeah, I got a lot. So let's just get into this. The first book I got in one of April is The Slap by Christos Scholkas. I don't know how to pronounce that name. But I don't know if you remember, but last year I told the story of how my mom works in a bakery and one of our regular clients, I guess, regular customers, that's how you say it, like talks to her about reading a lot and had gifted her like the first 2 books in the what's called the Dark Tower series by Stephen King for me to read. And then in April, just randomly, my mom came home with this book. I have never heard of this. But the tagline on the front says, "One day at a suburban barbecue, a man slaps a child who is not his own," which sounds intriguing. And then I put it into my Goodreads and turns out this is like a very beloved book. So I'm curious. This is going to be very much out of my comfort zone though, but I'm curious to read it. So back to my comfort zone, the books I bought. We have A Kingdom of Flesh and Fire by Jennifer Armentrout, which is the second book in the From Blood and Ash series. I read the first book in December, I believe, and I really enjoyed it, so I want to continue on with the series. And the Dutch editions are gorgeous. Like, the covers are just like the same, but have like beautiful sprayed edges. This is gold, gorgeous. Then we have beautiful fan art at the end pages. And we also have like a promotional bookmark which matches the cover. So, you know, I'm collecting these. Like, these are top notch. And a book that I got at the same time that I have read is Get a Life, Chloe Brown by Talia Hibbert. This is a adult romance novel that I've heard a lot of great things about. So when I saw it in the bookstore, I had to pick it up, and then like I immediately read it. This was so good. One of the best rom-coms that I've read in a while. And then in my town was a flea market, and usually at the flea markets I never get a lot of books, but for some reason I got a lot of books this time. So let's go through them. First off, we have Eclipse by Stephanie Meyer. I'm trying to have the Twilight series, collect them, because they're just something that meant a lot to me growing up, because I read these when they were all the hype. But like, also I don't want to support Stephanie Meyer because, you know, she's problematic. So I've been buying these secondhand when I come across them. Eclipse is the last one I needed, so I'm glad I finally have that to fulfill my collection. And we have something fell out of here. Then we have Ugly Love by Colleen Hoover. I recently read Layla and Verity by Colleen Hoover, which got me interested in her books again, which the last time I was interested in her books was around the time this was like very hyped on BookTube. The fact that I'm like re-interested in her again like generally made me want to pick up this one. And then I also got 3 new Agatha Christie novels, because even though I haven't read the ones that I got previously, I didn't can't help myself. First, I have Hickory Dickory Dock. Sounds interesting. Then we have the ABC murders, which I have heard great things about, and the murder of Roger Ackroyd, which again I've heard great things about. Then I got into the trap again of buying Stephen King novels. Like, I need to go back to the rule that I can buy Stephen King novels until I've read them all, because I own too many. But I got 2. Cujo by Stephen King, which I have taken out from the library before, and I started it and I liked it, but like I just wasn't really in a mood for it, so I put it down like after like 50 pages or so. I never got back to it, so I'm excited to own this now as I've heard great things about it. And then, because I hate myself, I also got one of his Behemoth books, and that's Under the Dome, because again I've heard great things about this. And then Stephen King related, we have Nosferatu by Joe Hill, who is the son of Stephen King, I believe, if I remember correctly. And yeah, this book has sounded very interesting to me. I believe it deals with vampires, which I love vampires, so yeah. And then lastly, from the flea market, we have The Good Daughter by Karen Slaughter, which my books just fell. Which I've heard amazing things about Karen Slaughter for like forever. Like, she's such a popular author, but there's only ever been 2 books by her that really sounded interesting to me, and that's The Good Daughter and Pretty Girls. So I'm excited I got my hands on this to try it out, see what the hype is about. And then, because I mentioned Chloe Brown earlier, you should have expected this, I also got Take a Hint, Annie Brown, and Extra H Eve Brown. I bought these like immediately after I finished Chloe Brown, because I love it so much, and I really liked the appearances of the two titular characters for these books as well in that one, so I just wanted to go ahead and read their romances. And I have to say, I also read these, absolutely adore them. Eve Brown is my favorite of the series, but I generally, all of 3 of these books were 5 stars. Really love them, definitely worth the hype. Then for May, we have more books, less than this stack that keeps falling. But still got a lot of books that I'm excited about. Most of these are romances, but still fun. Okay, so my local bookstore has recently expanded to like English section, and because of that there's also like a lot of romance in there, which I'm loving, which is how I got the Brown Sister trilogy. But I also have like 3 other romances that I got in May that I'm really excited for, and one is Payback's a Witch by Lana Harper. This is a sapphic revenge witchy romance, and I've heard great things about this, so I'm very excited to give it a read. This is also the cover, absolutely looks stunning, and yeah, can't wait to read it. On kind of like the same trend, we have The Ex-Hex by Erin Sterling, which is another witchy rom-com. This also includes revenge, I believe, so this will be really cute. I really love this cover. I've heard this one compared to like Halloween Town like vibes, and I'm not the biggest Halloween Town fan, but like the vibes I can get behind. And then I also learned that Erin Sterling is a pen name for Rachel Hawkins, who I've read books from before and really enjoyed. So I am very excited to check this out as well. And then very much a TikTok made me buy it situation with The Fine Print by Lauren Asher. This is a romance book that just has been blown up by TikTok. And I believe, if I remember this correctly, this is kind of like a Disneyland situation. And then we have a nonfiction, because I don't buy nonfictions often enough. I don't read them often enough, but I do like them. And that's De Geknipte Hyene by Hetty Helsmochtel, who is a Belgian scientist. And this is about DNA, as you can tell from the cover, and DNA is something I'm like very interested in, so I wanted to check this out. I've also heard some great things about it. And also a fun fact, this is like from the imprint like Nuchtland, which is kind of like this organization of like a couple of people here in Belgium who like make science related content. And one of the people in this is Lieve Scherre, who I've read all of his books by already, and who is also a host, like a television host and a comedian. And my cousin actually worked as a volunteer like a merch stand at one of his like stand-up comedy shows, where she got this for me, and also got it signed, which well, first off, we have Ike's Chawarila by Casey McQuiston, which was one of my most anticipated releases of 2022, so I'm very excited that I got it. This is a like coming of age YA story with a sapphic romance at the center of it. It has a bisexual protagonist, and kind of reminiscent of Paper Towns a little bit. If you want Paper Towns but better and queerer, you'll probably like this a whole lot. I loved it. I read it, really loved it, got me out of a reading slump. And more sapphic-ness, we have Playing with Heroines by Emily M. Denford, who is the author of The Men's Education of Cameron Post, which I read a couple of years ago and absolutely adored. And this is a historical fiction. I think it also has some fantasy to it. I'm not entirely sure, but it's sapphic. I've heard amazing things about it. And then I got Nick and Charlie by Alice Oseman, just because they had it. And I'm trying to complete my Alice Oseman collection, and I know I can't read this until I've read Solitaire, but you know, I had to get it. Like look at my faves. And then we also have If This Gets Out by Sophie Gonzalez and Kill Dietrich, which was one of my most anticipated releases of last year, but it came out in like December, so it took me a little bit to get to. But Sophie Gonzalez wrote my favorite book of all time, which is Perfect on Paper, and then Kill Dietrich wrote The Love Interest, yes, which I also read and I really enjoyed. So when I heard they were teaming up to write a book following 2 guys in a boy band who have to keep their relationship a secret, I was like, yes, I love this so much. Mainly because I do like fame books. I know a lot of people don't, but I really like them, and I love secret relationships. Just I eat it up, love it every time, so I'm like super excited to give this read. And then we have Bitter by Kwekio Menzi, which is the prequel to Pet by the same author, and I really loved Pet when I read it, so I am very excited to give this a read. And then lastly, we have She Gets the Girl by Rachel Lippincott and Alison Derrick, which is again one of my most anticipated books of 2022. This is a YA sapphic rom-com following these 2 girls who are like trying to get with like someone else. They have a question on someone else, and they're helping each other to get the girl and they end up falling for each other, and it's like the cutest shit ever. I read this as well. Those were all the books for May. Now we're getting into June, which is significantly less. So first off, I finished my Alice Oseman collection. So these are the 3 books by Alice Oseman that I didn't own yet. That's Solitaire, which I am the most hyped to read because I love Tori, both in the show and in the graphic novel. So I'm very excited to read her story and see what's going on. Hearts of Pursuit is like a prequel to this, but volume 4 kind of like starts going into the timeline of this book. So, you know, I'm hyped to read it. And then we have this, woo! That book just flew. I'm glad I'm wearing glasses because otherwise I would have gone into my eye. But then we have This Winter by Alice Oseman, which I believe is a prequel novella to Solitaire. And yeah, I'll also be reading it. Look, more cuteness, illustrations. These novellas have like a lot of illustrations throughout them, and it makes me so excited. And then lastly we have I Was Born for This, which isn't set in the same universe as Solitaire, Heartstopper, and Radio Silence. And this one is about a like boy band, and I believe like a fan of that boy band, and it's like a romance between the two. I noticed this like Alice Oseman's least loved book, but this one sounds right up my alley, so I am still very excited to read this. I love books about fandom, I love books about famous people, like I said before, so I am super hyped to give this one a read. And then we also have some non-Alice Oseman novels. We have A Crown of Gilded Bones by Jonathan Armentrout, which is the 3rd book in the Blonde Ash series, but I haven't read the 2nd book yet, so I got the 3rd book because like I said, I love these editions, and these got released like very close to each other because I got the 2nd book in release week and this one I got the week after it was released, so like they were released very closely together. This is the cover. The back and spine, you know, the same as your typical edition, just with a translated text, but it has beautiful black sprayed edges. Like, I don't think I've owned a book with a black sprayed edge, but like it looks gorgeous. I love it. And this is the end paper fan art, which gorgeous like always, and you know, promotional bookmark, which is just like the cover, so like it's nothing too special. And then lastly we have Book Lovers by Emily Henry, which is the newest novel by Emily Henry, and I read People Mean on Vacation in, I don't remember, but like a couple of months ago. I think in January. Yeah, in January I think I read that. I really loved it. I'm very excited to own this now and give it a read. The tagline for this says, "One summer, 2 rivals, a plot twist they didn't see coming," which sounds fun. That's everything that I got. A whole lot, I know, but I'm trying to like tone down my book buying habits. But like I am, besides like the secondhand book haul, like everything like I bought new, I'm generally like super hyped for, and I don't know when to get to it. Like, I can't get to it soon enough, so you know, I'm not too mad at myself for buying this many books. And yeah, that's all I have for you today. If you read any of these books that I haven't read yet, let me know in the comments what you thought of them so I know which ones to prioritize, and I guess I'll see you guys next time. Good. Here I am again, the same old situation.